Check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 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 check. I don't hear anything. Anybody hear anything? Nope. Check, check, 1, 2. Am I being heard? Yes, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everyone who's here in the sanctuary this morning, and good morning to you all on Facebook and YouTube this morning. We have a special thing happening today. We have, if you were paying attention last week, we let you know that there was going to be a Ukrainian refugee family with us this morning, and that we would hear from them directly after service. This is not going to be streamed, just for anonymity's sake. They'll be here in the sanctuary, are here in the sanctuary, and it is Marina, Helen, Christine, and Gayla, and Marina is the daughter, sister who opened her home to her family members, a family of women, as they fled their home in Ukraine. So we're going to hear from Doreen and Joyful Noise with her original song, Beyond What Our Eyes Can See, which was written in support of Ukraine.
One. One, two, 1, 2, 4. We can't possibly know what it's like to fear surprise airstrikes. Ooh. Devastation ripping through towns, rubble stacking into large mounds. Ooh. Innocent folks getting desperately seeking moments of calm. TV shots depicting it all. It's time for us to heed the call. We send our undying love to Ukraine and pray to ease their suffering and pain. We come together as one energy, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see. Yes, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see. Propaganda, such illusions. Why all the mass confusion? Ooh. There's no sense of security as Ukrainians try to flee. Ooh. Ooh. What will it take to end war we can't comprehend? Is it possible for peace? Will the fighting ever cease? We send our undying love to Ukraine and pray to ease their suffering and pain. We come together as one energy, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see. Yes, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see. We gotta hang on to hope, even though it's hard to cope. The vision we see is Ukraine is free. We send our undying love to Ukraine and pray to ease their suffering and pain. We come together as one energy, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see. Yes, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see. Yes, spreading light beyond what our eyes can see.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll get there in a moment. We cannot possibly imagine, not even for a moment. Thank you for blessing us with the honor of serving you today in some small way. Thank you.
Please join us in singing We're Unity. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're unity. We come to see the God in you and in me. We feel the love that we're
Good morning, everyone. Let's take a deep breath together. Welcome to all who are here in our Sunday morning celebration service. Welcome to all, once again, who are on YouTube and Facebook, to Pam and to Ellen and to, who else? Joan, to all of you, maybe Jess and Phil, to all you all who are watching and taking part in our service. We welcome you here. As always, we have the Joyful Noise Band and Choir here with us today, blessed with their music. And, welcome back to Don and Sandy. And today our special music features Donna Roselli, and Doreen Pariba will be sharing a sound healing vibrational voyage for our meditation. So we'll be blessed with that. And welcome to first timers. If you are here for the first time and you feel comfortable in doing so, we invite you to raise your hand so you can receive a welcome packet. And if you'd like a welcome packet, please raise your hand. And it's okay if you don't, but there is a free gift involved. So we invite you to take a welcome packet. And if you're shy to raise your hand, if you'd like to receive one, you may take one on the way out after the service. In that packet, there's some information about our Unity of Stewart and our Unity movement. There is a prayer intention / request form in there if you'd like to fill that out and put it in our prayer box in the foyer. Our chaplains will pray over that. You'll hear more about that in a moment. And there is also a form. If you take it and fill it out, it'll put you on our mailing list. We generally send out one email a week, just letting you know what's coming up. And and that's when you get a free gift. If you bring that form back to the welcome podium after service, you will get a gift. There's coffee and probably some goodies in the kitchen. You can join us on the patio. Actually, I'm going to invite you not to do that. If you're going to stay in the sanctuary to hear from our family, did you notice how you became mine? If you hear from our family after church, right after the 10:30 service, they will be here telling their story, and they'll be available for questions and for your gifts afterwards. So more about that later. What I'd like you to know, what I'd like everyone to know, is that we are a welcoming, affirming, practical path of spirituality. All are welcome here, all are celebrated here, because unity leaves no one out. Thank you for being in the church. As usual, we have announcements, and we have prayer chaplains today, or at least one prayer chaplain. I know Nancy Bach is a prayer chaplain. Please stand, Nancy. Who else is a prayer chaplain here today? Anyone? All right, Nancy is our prayer chaplain today. If you would like personal prayer after the service, Nancy will be honored to pray with you and to hold your prayer in the highest confidence. You can also email us at prayer@unityofstewart.org if you'd like to be on our prayer list, or you can call our mothership and outside of Kansas City, Silent Unity Prayer Line right there, and they will pray with you. Moving on, we have Tuesday morning meditation with Cheryl Roby live on Facebook at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. Cheryl is a Reiki master and spiritual teacher, and she is live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, and you, of course, can see all of those meditations on our Facebook page. And as always, I'm banging the drum for choir members. If you would like to lift your voice in song, can carry a tune, and can show up on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock and at 9:30 on Sunday mornings, please come and join our choir. We have our man up here. That's Mike Taylor. Thank you, Mike. So Mike would like some choir bros, if you please. Also, some more women. So, all right. Again, one deep breath, if you please. And I invite you to join me in dedicating our service to peace in Ukraine and to strength and restitution for all Ukrainians. In stillness, I find peace. In stillness, I find peace. The beloved 23rd Psalm is a source of comfort to many in need or in sorrow. It can also be the focus of meditation when remembered as a series of powerful affirmative statements. One such affirmation is, I am led beside still waters. A wise shepherd leads his sheep away from rapid torrents to cross the stream where waters are calm. Otherwise, the weight of the wet sheep's wool could cause the animal to drown in the rushing waters. God, as universal law, also leads me to still waters, a place of inner stillness. In this calm space, thoughts that threaten to rush in and overwhelm me dissipate. As I breathe in, I feel the safety of resting beside still waters. As I breathe out, my soul is restored. And indeed, from Psalm 23, he leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. So in this moment of connection with Spirit, of being in this sanctuary of love, peace, and harmony right here in our beloved unity of Stewart, we imagine that we are indeed beside still waters. And we breathe peace. We breathe peace and healing to Ukraine and all Ukrainians. We breathe peace and healing to all those affected by the shooting in Buffalo. And we breathe peace for our lives and for our country. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. And so it is. Amen. And please affirm with me our affirmation for today, together. In stillness, I find peace. And taking that deep breath, anchoring in this affirmation, please affirm with me one more time, together. In stillness, I find peace. And so it is. And as we prepare for prayerful meditation, we have a new meditation song. Some of you might remember it when we did it, God only knows when. Here we go, Prayer of St. Francis.
So now we're going to enter into our meditation, which normally Reverend Jude does a guided meditation. This today is a sound meditation. I call them vibrational voyages. And so I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes and focus on your breath as you're hearing the different sounds. If you're having trouble with letting go of thoughts, to just pick one of the sounds you hear and follow it through to its end.
And so we breathe as we have been led beside the still waters. We breathe and bring into our awareness, if you please, all of those who are on our prayer list here at Unity of Stewart, and all of those who are in our minds and hearts this morning. And if you'd like to speak their name out into this holy space, I invite you to do that now. And releasing all into the care and keeping of the one. I invite you to join me in praying this in the name, in the nature, in the light, in the love, and the peace and harmony of the indwelling Christ presence. And so it is. Amen. And now, let's sing about it.
One life, one love, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One truth, one world, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One life, one love, one life at a time. One truth, one world, one life at a time. One voice, one choice, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One prayer, one dream, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One voice, one choice, one life at a time. One prayer, one dream, one life at a time. One life at a time. One life at a You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You are capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's all sadness and pain. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel in every circumstance. Work on yourself daily. yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. All you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You've got the power all in you. Oh, 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 oh. You have to believe in yourself. You don't have to hide anything. You can be your true self. Don't need to follow society. Never forget that you're blessed. Give thanks for everything. Even the hard times will turn out to be blessings. No matter how you feel, you can learn from your pain. It's there to make you great. Your story's far from done. Best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you can achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You've got the power all in you. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you need the truth. You've got the power all in you. Oh, oh, the power's all in you.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Joyful Noise. I want to say good morning to all who are showing up on the Facebook feed. We have Angela. Good morning, Angela. Hey, Cheryl. Good morning to you. Judy from Albuquerque. Jerry, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. We have Stacy, and not Stacy Goldstein, another Stacy. And Marlis. Morning, Marlis. Kathy, MJ, Delia, Debbie, Paul, Jackie, and Bobby. Good morning, everybody. We're glad that you are here. A mother was concerned about her 5-year-old son, Timmy, walking to kindergarten every day. Timmy didn't want his mother to walk with him. She wanted to give him the feeling that he had some independence, so she said okay, but she also wanted to know that he was safe. So she had an idea about how to handle it. She asked a neighbor if she would please follow him to school in the morning, staying at a distance so he probably wouldn't notice her. The neighbor said that since she was up early with her toddler anyway, that she'd be delighted to take that walk. It would be a good way to get some exercise, so she agreed. The next day, the neighbor and her little girl set out to following behind Timmy as he walked to school with a neighborhood girl that he knew, and the neighbor did this for a whole week. And as the two school children walked and chatted, kicking stones and twigs, Timmy's friend noticed the same lady that was following them as she seemed to do every day that week. And finally, she said to Timmy, have you noticed that lady following us to school all week? Do you know her? And so Timmy replied, yeah, I know who she is. And the little girl said, who is she? Well, that's just Shirley Goodnest, Timmy replied, and her daughter Marcy. Shirley Goodnest? Well, who is she and why is she following us? Well, Timmy explained, every night my mom makes me say the 23rd Psalm with my prayers because she worries about me so much. And in the Psalm, it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. So I guess I'll just have to get used to it. You got to love the corny joke. So we are looking at the 23rd Psalm today in a way that you probably haven't heard about it before. Maybe as a child you've seen it, maybe you memorized it, and maybe you've known it for many years, and maybe it's relatively new to you. So I affirm today for us all that if you've had a relationship with the 23rd Psalm, good or bad, it will be deepened, the good will be deepened. And if you've never prayed this psalm, I invite you to find a new comfort in it and a new affirmation for your life. So the Rabbi Harold Kushner, in his book, The Lord is My Shepherd, says this. In just a few lines, the 23rd Psalm contains the distilled wisdom of generations, offering us a way of seeing the world that renders it less frightening, teaching us to deal with the loss of people we love and with conflict with people we don't like and those who treat us badly. It shows us how to recognize the presence of God at times and places where we may think God was absent, or when we might be so distracted by our own concerns that we overlook God's presence. It has the power to teach us to think differently, and as a result, to act differently. So, we're going to have some slides today. So it begins. The Lord is my shepherd. Now, long after the Hebrew people stopped becoming nomads, stopped being nomads, they kept the mindset of the shepherd guiding the flock with care, knowing each by name, understanding its ways, and dedicated to protecting them from danger. Before I go any further, I want to say a few words about the word Lord. And I've said this before, I just say it again every time we use this in a lesson. A simple interpretation of the word Lord is simply love. The Lord is a way to say divine love in our lives. When we see the word Lord, when we think the word Lord, we can also think about it as the Lord being the consciousness of God that indwells us, that lives, moves, and has its being as us. We could call it divine presence, we could call it universal mind, we could call it higher power. So whatever that is, you can substitute that for Lord. Because it's nothing less than the presence and the power of truth in our lives, the presence and power of love, of divine law that is within us and all around us. When we say the Lord is my shepherd, we're saying that we look to divine presence to guide us to the indwelling consciousness of the divine. It goes on to say, I shall not want. The 20th century monk Thomas Merton said this, a rich person has no needs. A rich person has no needs. And he wasn't talking about a lot of money. He was talking about being in a state of oneness with God, where there is contentment and ease and fulfillment. That doesn't mean that we don't have urges, cravings, desires for things. It doesn't mean that we get everything we want in our lives. It doesn't mean that we win the lottery, the job of our dreams, that we get the big boat, the spouse that never disagrees, children that never misbehave. Good thing, right? It doesn't mean any of that. What it means is we're called to go within and recognize that we are blessed by our lives, no matter what it looks like. That we are blessed because we're here right now, in this place, breathing, and we're safe. That's I shall not want. The promise of that line is even as we deal with challenges, with unfulfilled dreams, with empty spaces, with the loss of things and those we love, we still recognize the vast blessings in our lives, the profound gifts that we have been given. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. Now, during the heat of the day, the shepherds would make the sheep lie down in green pastures so that they could be nourished in their rest, lying in the coolness, in the shade. So, taking rest in the heat of life. What is the normal human reaction to the heat of life? Run the other way? Push it away? Complain about it? Be resentful? Be angry? Crawl into bed and pull the covers over our heads? Well, we may do all of that at some time or another. Or we may freeze. What the psalm is telling us is to rest. When we were being blessed by the meditation, did we feel that? Did you feel that? Taking a deep breath and just resting in it. There's power in stillness. That's when ideas come. Have you noticed that? And even if they don't come in that exact moment, in the stillness, they come later. Right? In the stillness, divine guidance comes. We learn what to do and how to move ourselves through the challenges of our lives. When we are overwhelmed, being in the stillness helps us to be at peace. When we lie down in green pastures, imagine, right? When's the last time you laid down in a green pasture? Every once in a while when I'm feeling overwhelmed by, life. And particularly when I'm working or crafting a lesson or something, I feel a need to step away for a moment, right? And a couple of times, I have spread a blanket out in my front yard, and I lie down on the green pasture, on the grass in my front yard, because it does indeed restore my soul. It restores my stillness. He leads me beside the still waters. So what leads us? We say he. God is not he or she. However, those are the words we have. God leads me beside still waters. When we are one, when we remember who we are and whose we are, when we live from God consciousness, the challenges of life, the floods of life, the trauma of life will not overwhelm us. When we have that conscious connection with Spirit, we can use that conscious connection whenever we're feeling overwhelmed to come back to center, to come back to breath, to come back to peace, to come back to still waters, where the raging floods of life will not overwhelm us. We still may get a little wet, but we will not drown. Stillness is the key to experience the holiness, the wholeness in which we live, move, and have our being. It's an opening for us to become the sacred container into which the divine pours life. It's being an open vessel for Spirit to come in and move in through us and transform us. And then what happens is he restores my soul. We have so many different pressures in our lives calling for our time, our energy, our money, our attention. I don't know about you, but in my life, with what's happening in the world now, war, racial injustice, fundamental rights being threatened to be taken away, we end up feeling fragmented. Where do I put my attention? Where do I give my money? Where do I give my time? And we attempt to divide ourselves, to cover everything. If we're doing this, then we have to also do this. We become fragmented. And at that point, we may sometimes think and try to go to a God that is outside of us, right? We want something to fix what's going on in the world. We want that divine presence to maybe become human right now and fix everything and heal the world. We treat God sometimes like a firefighter. He's going to come in and put out the fires of life. Well, God doesn't do that. What we call God doesn't do that. Guess who does it? We do it. We do it by being connected to that power and that presence, that stillness in our lives. So this line is telling us to be still, to rest, and to let God be God in us. And when we do that, we will be led in paths of righteousness. Paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So, when I first came into ministry, I used to think that once I did that, once I turned my life over to Spirit to teach these things, that everything would be easy. Of course, because, hey, all right, I do my spiritual practice, I do my work, I teach the truth, my truth, unity truth, and guess what? Life didn't become any less challenging. Right? Things still happen. My body sometimes gives up. My emotions sometimes get out of control. I feel anger. I still sometimes feel resentment. I still sometimes am petty as anything. And yet, the righteousness in me is when I let Spirit move in and through me and bring me back to center. Leads me in the path of righteousness to remember who I am and what is mine to do in the world. So, there's only a straight line in geometry. There's no straight line in spiritual growth. Often, when we have to do something in a roundabout way, or it feels like we're not going straight up the mountain, is where the blessings are, of who we meet along the way, of the lessons that we learn, of the patience that we learn, of the compassion that we learn. The road less traveled, sometimes the crooked road, has the most blessings for us. So we are called to be still and allow ourselves to move through our life without pushing the challenges away, without thinking that they're wrong, and without thinking that they don't have anything for us, because every single challenge we have in our lives has a gift for us in its hands. Everything. And so, for his name's sake. So the traditional meaning of for his name's sake is for the glory of God. So we got led in paths of righteousness for the glory of God. And so as we know, Lord, God, it all can be translated into the word love. Every single time we hear those words, we can translate them to love. So it is for the sake of love that we do all these things. We live into this prayer because we desire a life in spirit. We desire a life, I'm going to speak for all of us, because I think we all desire a life where we're at peace, where we recognize who we are at depth, where we do this work so that we can be peace in the world. Yes, amen? Amen. All right. Living a life of oneness. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we all live all of our lives personally in the shadow of death. Our own death, the death of those that we love, the death of relationships, changes in our lives that sometimes feel like a death. This is a dimension of life that none of us can escape. Knowing that, we are called to practice letting go. Letting go of those people and things that we love. Let's take a breath. Again, a spiritual life doesn't shield us from problems, but it gives us something that allows us to walk through the valley. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So get that. I walk through the valley. I don't stop in the valley and pitch a tent. Right? That's such a great line for me. We walk through the valley. We keep on going. Even when it's the most difficult, we put one foot in front of the other and we do the next indicated thing. When we go through the valley, when we're going through hell, we keep moving. We recognize that it's not permanent, right? Nothing is permanent. I beg to differ, but that's another lesson. That's next week. It's not, though. Somebody said death is permanent. So we say this too shall pass. This too shall pass. We move through it. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. A word about evil. Evil is the action that sometimes comes when one forgets who they are. When one forgets that there is only one of us, there is only one of us in the mind, in the metaphorical mind of God. We're all the same underneath our skin. Every single one of us wants to be loved, wants to be safe, wants to be respected and honored. Every single one of us, we are all the same. So we don't say, I will fear no evil because there isn't any such thing as evil, or I will fear no evil because I'm a good person and evil only happens to bad people, or I will fear no evil because it's all part of God, or this drives me a little crazy when I hear people say it's just an illusion. Yeah, tell that to our Ukrainian family, that it's just an illusion. And, oh, don't worry about it, it'll all work out in the end. It is. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I will fear no evil because thou art with me. God is with us. Spirit is with us. Higher power, universal mind is always with us. Always. It's up to us to turn within toward it. We have everything we need right here and right now to face the evils of the world. When we recognize our oneness, we are then able to transform tragedy and limitation into possibility and recognize blessings right where we are. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now, back in the days of sheep herding, maybe still, the rod was an iron-tipped club that shepherds carried that was used to fend off threatening animals, to keep the sheep safe. The rod represents the power to act. When we have that sense of oneness with God, there is the power to act and to deal with whatever the problems are. Now, the staff is the thing with the hook, the little Bo Peep thing with the hook on top. And it was used to prod the sheep and send them in the right direction. We sometimes call that the spiritual 2x4. When we're not paying attention to spirit, when we have removed ourselves, we need some guidance, yes? So that's the staff. We give our attention to spirit and not the problem. So the end result of that is comfort. When we turn to spirit, the fear dissipates. Sometimes when we mess up, life has a way of using that rod, that spiritual 2x4, to bring us back into line. And when we are open to the life lessons, the staff gently guides us to where we need to go. This verse is interesting. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Everything shifts now, right? God is no longer the shepherd. Now God is the host of the party. In his meditation, Sand and Foam, Khalil Gibran writes this: I have learned silence from the talkative, tolerance from the intolerant, and the kindness from the unkind. Yet strangely, I am ungrateful for all these teachings. Because it's hard, right? It's challenging. It's challenging. Often it's from our quote-unquote enemies, from those we don't get along with, from those who make us uncomfortable, for those that challenge us, that we have the deepest lessons to learn. This is where, when we are confronted, activated, or triggered by somebody, we can seriously and authentically go within and say thank you to that person. Because if we pay attention to that, if we recognize that we're activated, or that we're triggered, or that we're offended, whatever it is, we can become aware that we can change that we can activate divine presence, activate our own compassion, and deal with what's happening. It's not always fun. It's hardly ever fun. But it's from our perceived enemies that we can get the greatest blessings. Oh, got this part. So the table, right? You prepare a table before me. What's on the table? Blessings from those we think are our enemies. Right? Radical forgiveness, knowing that all people are here for our learning, for our growth. You anoint my head with oil. So in biblical times, having one's head anointed with oil means that one was the chosen of God. It was a sign also of royalty, of the Messiah. Every one of us is anointed because we are chosen. We are chosen of God. If we're sitting here, if we're sitting wherever you are, we're chosen for the very simple truth that we are here. That we are here doing this work, even if we're not doing the work. And when we recognize that we are chosen, that we are charged with creating the world from right where we are, we recognize we're anointed. We are each messiahs. Take a breath into that one. We are each messiahs. We are each the chosen ones. My cup overflows. Gratitude. Gratitude. The great Christian mystic Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it will be enough. An essence of spiritual work, of spiritual practice, is to be grateful for what we have, for what we receive. When we cultivate an attitude of gratitude for our blessings, there will be no cup large enough to hold all the extra blessings we will receive, all the deeper blessings. So let our cup overflow with gratitude for our lives. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. A rabbi once stopped a prominent member of his congregation in the street and said to him, whenever I see you, you're always in a hurry. You're always rushing somewhere. Tell me, what are you running? What are you running after all the time? And the man responded, I'm running after success. I'm running after prosperity. I'm running after a good living. And the rabbi responds, that's a good answer if you assume that all these rewards are out there ahead of you. If you think they're trying to elude you and you have to run hard to catch up with them. But what if the rewards of life are gently following you? What if they're looking for you and can't find you because you're running so fast? An awareness of God brings that life of goodness and mercy. In this moment, we are one with God as Jesus told us we were. All of it, goodness, mercy, prosperity, harmony, peace, balance, good health is all there for us. It's ready to pour itself into our lives when we slow down. The kingdom is within us, and we have the key to unlock it. Meister Eckhart also wrote, God is at home. It is we who have gone out for a walk. If you can, this is what I say, if you can't find God, know that it's not God who moved. It's not God who moved. Let's slow down and allow goodness and mercy to find us. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We will know then, we will dwell in this house of peace and power at one with the indwelling God consciousness, the indwelling divine presence, the indwelling sacredness of life, and the wholeness and holiness of each moment. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You ready to pray it? Together. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And so it is. Amen. And let's take a breath together. Settle in as we prepare for our celebration of abundance. And once again, as we do every Sunday, we thank you for your love offerings, your tithes, your gifts. Thank you to our consistent givers. Your gifts allow us to continue doing this work that we do in the world. For you who are online, here are the ways to give. I'll put that in the chat in a moment so you could click on it. Thank you. Very simply, thank you. So let's affirm our prosperity prayer and our love offering blessing together. In a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all of the needs of Unity of Stewart and those we serve are instantly, constantly, and bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good comes to us now. We are grateful. Amen. And our love offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give and receive always in love. And before we sing, and you can start, Ricky. For those of you who would like to donate to our Ukrainian family, you can. There is a basket on the, what is that thing called? A table. On the table right there next to John, if you'd like to drop, if you have a gift card or cash or a check, we invite you to drop it in that on the way out. You also have, for those of you who might be showing up after the service, we also will make that available again. All right, let's sing. And online, too, if you go to unityofstewart.org and click on the donate button and then use the drop-down menu, you will see that you can donate to our Ukrainian family there. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right.
Help us all along the way.
all good. It's all good. We have some, before we sing for our kids, we have some announcements. We have many service opportunities as more people are coming back into physical church. We have openings on the welcome team, in our gift store, and in hospitality. If you'd like to receive more information about that, or you are absolutely gung-ho to get started, we invite you to sign up on the information table. I want to remind you that there's yoga every Wednesday, every Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday mornings at 10, poses and meditation with Nancy Miller, and Tuesdays at 3:30, chair yoga. So this week, we're sending out our first order of bricks. So today is the last day that you can fill out the order and have someone memorialize in a brick in our walkway out there, and the brick forms are on the information table. And there's pamphlets in the back of the seats that talk about the brick program and our legacy program. We invite you to take a look at that, and of course there's the link. All right, so our kiddos walked in already, but I still want to sing to them. How about you? All right, let's sing to the kiddos.
1, 2, 3, 4. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light of God.
All right. Let's see. You can be seated for this piece. Thank you. Does anybody want to share anything today? Hunter?
Little piece of God.
Say that again, please.
We found little pieces of God.
And tell us your name.
Sky.
Sky. Where are pieces of God, Sky? Do you know?
In nature.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. It's like lying beside still waters, right? Yeah, good. And nobody else? Jen, how about you?
Hey, everyone. As always, we have an open place for you, if it's in your heart, to come and serve our children. We're always looking for extra helpers, and if you have something to offer, we're open and available for it.
And let me
Yay.
tell you what you get in return. You get to spend time with these beloved children of Spirit, and you would be amazed at how much they will teach you. So, all right, thank you. All right, let us stand and bless our kiddos.
1, 2, 3. We love you. We bless you. We truly, truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you.
And we invite you to hold our kiddos and our youth and family ministry program in your prayers. And let us close with the prayer for protection and the peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love.
The power of God protects us.
Wait for me to say something.
I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence.
Wherever I am, God is. I am divine. And we are going to be staying in the sanctuary as soon as those of you who want to leave. And those of you who want to stay. We'll be hearing from our family right after service. So with that, let us end with the peace song.